Hey everyone, and welcome to the analysis of this wonderful gameplay we finally got from today's E3 livestream. And I have to admit, I was super shocked, right, that disappeared today. I was not prepared. I was simply not prepared. And for the sake of this video, let me just get a few things out of the way and then we are jumping into it immediately, because this is going to be awesome. It will be a pretty long video, so please stick with me. I want to go in detail with all of the things, trying to give as many info as I can, also in addition to what we saw, because this is actually the same park and gameplay we saw with our Frontier studio visit a few weeks ago. And this is really pretty cool because there were even some new things in here we haven't seen back then, because you have to see we've been in that room and they did this live demo. This is a pre-recorded demo, and in the live demo obviously things went a little bit differently than in the pre-recorded one. So now let's jump into, because I think you're all pretty curious. I've got myself here with my mouse. I've activated the mouse icons. I will zoom in for the sake of this video, that we can see everything in detail. And I've got also my my zoom function here. So if we start zooming in, let me see. So first of all, what we can see, this is like the first bit we can see here. Why is this even here? I don't want to have this here. So if we go over a little bit to the left hand side here, can I just wait? How is this even possible? There we go. So this is a big piece by piece building over here, which is super awesome because this shows how big of a structure we can do with all the pieces. So that means we have nice pieces given, but also small pieces given. That all seems to be working. On the left hand side though, this looks a bit like a facility building. Also the roof appears to be like that. I don't really know exactly what this is. You can see a lot of people roaming around here, and you can also clearly tell that there is some kind of signage over here that guides people to different locations. You can see all these sculptures or statues you've seen also on the screenshots. And if we move even further into, you can see there is a giraffe in the background and people pointing at the giraffe. So that's from the first frame actually. But you know what, let's just zoom out and hit play first of all, and we zoom in a little bit until we see something else. I will keep this thing playing and then we'll point this out, maybe without zooming because this felt very weird. Okay, so let's stop the whole thing here first of all. I want to point out this very bit on the right hand side. I think this is the perfect tool to zoom it in. So we have two cool things to look at. First of all, actually three cool things to be honest. So the first thing we can see is this little mask over here. I'm betting this is some kind of scenery piece, but we also have this lamppost over here with like the gas lantern or like fire going on here. We have the bin over here, but also this seems to be like some kind of nice kind of wool or whatever foliage, not foliage, it's kind of a cotton piece or whatnot. I'm really curious to see how they improve the engine though, because I've seen that they are even partnering with Nvidia and the RTX series, which means ray tracing might become a thing in here. And yeah, some of the cool things of ray tracing will eventually make its way into the game, which I can't wait to see. On the left hand side we have something that looks a bit like, I can't really tell if there's like steam or smoke coming out of it. I wonder what that is. I don't know. It's maybe something like a bin or so, or this could be one of the trash management items. I am absolutely clueless what that could be. But anyways, let's just keep on playing the whole thing. Now we come a bit closer. There we go. I think from this view, it kind of feels like this is something where something is burning, and it might just be a VFX effect, but for whatever reason, should there be a VFX here, having some smoke coming out, it might very well be some kind of burning thing, or maybe even for some animals, but even though I don't know that they're roaming around here, so that might be weird. We have some nice flowers in here, like a little flower bed. We can see that like raised paths are still possible. I can see curbing here, which triggers me a little bit, but I'm not going too much into it. But yeah, if we move over, okay. So what I wanted to show you now, let's do this now. So we have the same UI basically as in Planet Coaster. It's just a little bit different, obviously, because it's a different game. But you can see on the left hand side we have zoo management and something very interesting. This is trading, and I bet this is what they announced by that you can do trading with other people via Steam Workshop or so. That'd be awesome. Then we have barriers, which is awesome. This seems to be like for enclosures features, we have the habitats, we have nature, we have zoo facilities, and we have construction. I bet this is like, if you look back into Planko, it's basically the same thing, but things are just called a little bit differently. And then we have the blueprints in a dedicated area, which is awesome. That means that we can create blueprints again and exchange them. But these are things we all knew already, and it's just very interesting to see that this is just a way better improvement over what we've seen. It's a little bit nicer, rounded off corners on the items, but basically it's the same. So we have the pass and the terrain and multi-select, which is exactly the same. However, multi-select now got a wording. It got no wording in Planko, but this is also because I think it developed over time. Let's see if there's anything else. Well, on the top left, it basically looks exactly the same as in Planko. Awesome. Okay, let's zoom out and continue. We are already 15 seconds in of a 7-minute video. Good, that's gonna be awesome long. Okay, we move further. Let me see if there's anything we can talk about. Okay, so I'm not gonna zoom in because this is the best view we can get, because like pixelated and stuff. So you can see there's a toilet over here. We have this toilet sign going on. Pretty obvious, pretty much what you could expect from a toilet, and it's super important to have a toilet. It's always important to have a toilet, right? I don't know what it is, but I feel like toilets have to be everywhere. Anyway, we need to move even further, and that's so much to point out. I'm trying to point out everything I can see. Okay, next bit over here are the picnic tables. Nothing too crazy here because we know that from Planet Coaster, but as you remember from the beginning of Planet Coaster, there were no picnic tables in that game. So this is very cool that we do have them from the beginning, although no one seems to have them. Very interesting though is, and I'm not too sure if this is a thing, but if we move in here, you can see those two guys, or the girls actually, they seem to be zookeepers, and also these two over here, which means there are fairly many of those in the park, which I think is pretty realistic, because in Planko, one thing that really triggered me a little bit is that the amount of staff you need to have is somewhat unrealistic, but in terms of, you know, costs and stuff, it makes sense to not have that many. But it would be awesome if we need way more staff members in here. And we know that staff management is something we have to look into a lot more than on Planko. And the thing about this is, what is really interesting for me at least, that we are definitely wanting to hide as much away from the staff management as possible, but still there need to be zookeepers roaming around. And now, knowing about the fact that this game will feature a lot of educational stuff, I wonder if zookeepers can even be like, you know, talking to people, because if you remember from the very first trailer, from like this rendered trailer from Planet Zoo, the announcement one, you can clearly see that there is a zookeeper talking to guests while they're staring at a enclosure. If I remember, I will put that little scene in here. Anyways, we continue now, quickly moving on a little bit. By the way, just pointing out, this lion steampunk thing is like badass. I wonder, I bet they haven't done this piece by piece, but if this is done piece by piece, props to the one designing that. That's awesome. Anyways, we just move on a little bit so we can have a better look at it. Oh, look at this. This looks super awesome. Okay, and never mind. We just go on a little bit more. You can see people throwing in that trash into the bins, which is basically the same as in Planet Coaster, which I love. I mean, yes, why would you do that? And now, this is the very interesting bit over here. So it does make sense that these are definitely zookeepers. Now, as we zoom in, this is what we need to do here. You can see there is a sign and an exclamation mark, which means this is staff-only access area. You can see that the path is also changing. This means they're roaming in here. So we have a normal zookeeper, or might be even kind of an instructor, maybe, because that's definitely a janitor. I bet this could be a mechanic, I guess, and yeah, this might be then a zookeeper, an introducer. I don't know how to call this, but basically a person that gives introduction to people, which would be awesome. Anyways, we go further. See the camera rotating, and I seriously hope that we have this panning shot like here with a camera tool, because this is something Planet Coaster is lacking. Oh, and by the way, let me just go back a little bit so we can, there we go, we can now get a nice look onto the overwhelmed. Oh, look at this. This is a way better mechanic than we had in Planet Coaster. I bet this, whoops. Oh, what am I doing? Come on back. Okay, there we go. Here you can see this is the mechanic. He even has these little knee security things, that if he's you know, sitting down to the bottom and leaning on his knees, that they're not getting hurt. He's this lovely little bag with him with all the tools in there, the toolbox, and yeah, it just seems to be awesome. And yeah, again, something to point out, we have male and female staff members now, so we are also about to see a female mechanic, I guess. Okay, let's move on, because I saw something I wanted to point out quickly. The toilet seems not to be having an interior, but it seems to be stinky, as it can be in Planet Coaster as well. So stinky area, so janitors need to be cleaned that up. I wonder why they don't, because they're like over here. Anyways, let's move on, because then we are coming to the next very interesting bit, and this is over here. Stop it. Okay, let's zoom in. There we go. These are information screens, and you can see this is the enclosure of the giraffes and the Springboks. And as we have been presented the demo in the Frontier office, they showed us that people need this. They have a need for education, and you can change these screens. These are basically billboards, as in Planet Coaster. Oops, sorry for the weird movement. These two over here are screens that can be exchanged with your own. You know, it was also quick. I don't know exactly how this worked. However, I knew clicking on them opened a menu, and you could exchange the info on it. And there is kind of something like a management aspect, that the more you research about the animals, the more education you have and can put on screen. So the more you unlock, the more screenshots and stuff of these animals you get, and so you can put various infos on these billboards, and the more you have, the better your guests are educated, and this makes the whole zoo's reputation a better thing, which is awesome, because I like that they go this deep into management. Now, as we move a little bit further before we actually come to boom, the animals. Now, here is a lot to point out as well. Oh my, we've seen a lot of this already on various screenshots, but now, as we can have a look in here, you can see, first of all, that there are many animals in one enclosure together, with the giraffe, with the Springbok, with the, I think this is a female Springbok, yeah, and we can see elephants in the back, even though I'm not exactly sure if this is the same. Anyways, on the left hand side, let me just, okay, wait, okay, so on the left hand side, this looks like Pride Rock, but yeah, you can see different animals in an enclosure. That means they have different needs in terms of toys and enrichment elements. This seems to be like a proper giraffe enrichment element, while this is a smaller one for the Springboks, for example. So you can see that you definitely need to put this all in. I love that these giraffes seem to be swimming over here, because that seems to be like half an island or so. Not quite sure if this is, though. Could be something else. And you see this small animal over here, which is awesome. Okay, anyway, we go to the left hand side, and you can see there is, oops, I need to move a bit more carefully. There we go. This also seems to be like a staff pathing, maybe, because there are not many guests roaming around, and I bet this could be a staff member. Not too sure, though. Let's just zoom out before we can catch the next stuff. Oh god, this is going to be such a long video. I'm not sorry about that, to be honest. Right, so I think we have to stop over here. Whew, there's again so much to see. Good. So first thing I want to point out is this swimming Springbok over here, which is awesome. You can really see how it is swimming in the water. I love the shading of the water. Again, telling you this is completely volumetric, which means that we need to purify water, and all this kind of stuff is really important for the management aspect. You can see that on the right hand side, this seems to be like a big viewing gallery from the upside, but there's also like glass on the downside, so people can also go down and look from the downside in here. You can see there's the track going for the Jeep ride. I think in this park this was a Jeep ride. You can also see that this is a hand-placed rock over here. This is not like, you know, it's not like you have a brush where you put down like scenery or stuff. This is a hand-put or hand-placed rock, and you can see that the Springbok is actually standing on top of it, which again is just a little bit of a yeah, confirmation that they're able to interact with every scenery item that you can place within enclosures, which is simply amazing. Okay, anyways, there's so much more to see in this video, so let's continue. Okay, you've seen the elephant roaming around, and as you can see from this panning view, this is exactly what is now coming together from all the screenshots we've been provided with. So if we go in here, okay, there's not too much crazy shit to see in here. Sorry for my wording. Anyways, if we zoom in, you can see again what I was pointing out in the screenshot, obviously knowing it, and I needed to play it a little bit safe here, but yes, I can confirm animals are seeking for shade. So you are also willing to put some thoughts into where you put some trees and stuff so that your animals can have some shade. Because if we go back a little bit in this little shot over here, you can clearly see that these animals are all looking for shade. This animal is sleeping in the shade. There is one elephant a little more, you know, just resting in shade. And if we go further, you can see that, again, it's not coincidental that they're all standing here. Okay, never mind. We just go on and moving through here, and we get an awesome view on, boom. Okay, oh god, okay, this is again a serious shot. Okay, so first we have a gate which combines various different enclosures with each other, and this jeep ride is going through it, and that's pretty cool because then you can make sure that the animals are not escaping. You can see how close you can get to the animals, and now there is something we are getting to, and this is the zebra over here to the left hand side. This is going to be very, very interesting, but we are going to talk about that in a bit. The next thing I want to point out is this path over here, just going to the right hand side. This is another staff building, and here's the thing. It's a little bit different than in Planet Coaster, where you were to spam all these facilities across everywhere where you thought it would be nice to put them. Here, it's really important that you have them close to the enclosures, because they need to go here and prepare food. And you can see how many animals are in that enclosure. Let me just move a little bit to the left so you can see that actually. So we have the wild beasts in here. We have these zebras in here, the plain zebras obviously. And if I'm not completely wrong, I think there are also Springboks or something in, but just a few animals in one enclosure that are likely to live together. And the jeep ride is just going quickly through here. Anyways, we zoom out a bit because now it's getting super interesting in a bit. Zooming in again, you can see the enrichment elements, and oh yeah, we have the gazelles, and we have like small ones. Now, boom. Let me just see if we can see something in here already. All right, so this is going to be whoops, and now let's just zoom in. All right, so we have many infos on that screen. Now let's really go and have a look in here. So this is a plain zebra, and I've made a awful spelling mistake in one of my videos. I'm very sorry for that. I don't know why it came to my mind. And this one is Suhaila, or Suhaila, I don't really know how to call that. She is 5 years old, and she seems to be pretty well doing, 94 on stats. She's got a bit need of nutrition. She's very social indeed, 100, so that's fine. The habitat is at 92, not perfect, can be better, but it's still perfect. And then we have the enrichment, which is at 100, which is awesome. And we can request quarantine, which is awesome. And see that, we have a new confirmation of another staff member, and this is a vet. This is so awesome. We have the keeper, and that's the first time we've heard about that. We actually have vets in here, and that makes sense, because if we have a quarantine need in here, that means that if this one is not like in Jurassic World Evolution, where you just can cure them with the jeeps and ranges. Now, here you really need to make sure that you get these animals out of the enclosure with all the others to not make sure that they don't get sick as well. And then you have to call the vet, which is, yeah, this makes also sense why you need these many, you know, you can't just put one enclosure down. You always have to make sure that you also have an enclosure ready for quarantined animals, or maybe ones you want to trade, or those who want to, you know, make babies, for example. And yeah, then you can see there is a whole lot more in here, information. We cannot just go in. So let's just move this a little bit more. So she's looking in here and orbiting around. And if I am not mistaken, this girl over here seems to be pregnant. I am not entirely sure, but we have seen this on various screenshots as well, and it might very well be that there is pregnancy in here, because if we stop this, wait, okay, we need to go this tiny bit back here to make sure. Okay, wait, there we go. I think, yeah, that seems to be just right, because now we can compare the body shaping of this one, our friend Zohaila, and this boy, I guess, or a girl, or whatever, over here. You can see from the overall shaping, let me just zoom out so you have that on one screen. So the shaping is way different over here, and if we look at the one in the background, it is again way more thin. So either way, we have a very fat zebra, which means that we have a different kind of weight of a zebra, I don't know, of animals in general, or she's actually pregnant, which let me just point that out. if this is not pregnant, she can't really have a need for nutrition. Look, let's just go back here. She has some need of nutrition of 90. Never ever. If she's not pregnant, what is she then? I mean, anyways, is there also maybe this, is this kind of, what does this mean? This little pill icon here. Okay, no idea. Okay, at least there is no info in the overview that she is pregnant. Let's move forward a little bit here. And yeah, you can see, okay, if we have this one in here again, you can see this is so different. I mean, if this is different between male and female, okay, that's fine. I don't know that yet, I'm totally honest with you, but I can't really believe that this is not pregnancy. I mean, this is just such a different shaping. So if we look at the, okay, maybe, well, it still is different though, but I don't know. Okay, so then we have the next one. Oh god, okay, we have to zoom in. Sorry, let's just skip forward and just pretend that this is just being a fat zebra for the moment before we do have more info about this. This is Ade. Okay, doesn't need pregnancy because otherwise this would be, he's 3.1 years old. He seems to be very hungry. Nutrition is at 10, so this is why he seems to be moving towards some nutrition spots, and this makes him very, very bad because actually everything else seems to be just right. And yeah, well, okay, you can also see they have star ratings, which seems to be, I don't know how do you improve these star ratings, but it seems to be a thing as well. So quite a few things interesting in here. Cool, we are not nearly at 2 minutes. Oh my god. Okay, we have some more nice views now on the wild beasts. You haven't seen them before. Okay, wait, let me just go a tiny bit back here. This one I want to point out is a wonderful chat. Oh, here. Okay, let me just zoom in again. Okay, so we have this chat, which is clearly built piece by piece, again, which is super awesome. The facilities now and the structures do react to weather. They provide shade, they are security for rain, they are security for snow and cold, and this is super awesome. And I'm not sure if this is just a sign of an animal or if this should be this animal. Not too sure though. But again, another animal searching for shade over here, and yeah, very awesome indeed. Okay, anyways, we go further to see for many more. Okay, this is also a nice shot of a little cow, which is awesome. I don't want to spend too much time on the obvious because, oh, okay, well, look at the detail again. Okay, the quality is not too great. This is why I'm not willing to spend too much time on animals. If we get this in more high quality, I'm definitely introducing those things to my overview video of the animals, which I'm really willing to do. Okay, so yeah, you can see a small zebra over here. We can all see all the enrichment tools. We can see the water. Awesome, but not too much in here. The Jeep ride also, we've looked about into this one as well. So again, I don't want to bother you with the obvious things you can see in here, but as soon as something important happens, as this one does at the moment, we are looking into it. And this is the wonderful overview of the textures. First thing which is super awesome here is that we have 2 more textures than in Planet Coaster, which is great because this is one improvement of, let me not be wrong here, 25%? Is that correct? No, actually 12.5%. No, 25. No, I'm wrong. It was 25%. Awesome. It doesn't matter, but I was just happy to say that. The thing is, we have so many different textures that we can really make our environments and our enclosures look super awesome. As always, we can change the level of intensity and size, basically as in Planko, but we can also make the boundary highlighting turned on and off, which seems to be a cool improvement if you ask me, because this was something that could be annoying if you were painting the terrain. And now we get another awesome look. We have to zoom in again. Sorry, wrong button. There's the right button. Okay, so we have basically exactly the same as in Planko. We have raise, lower, flatten to terrain, flatten to surface. We have flatten to terrain, which is the other kind of surface. Then we have, I think this is chisel, but this could also be flatten, level flatten or something, which would be new. This is smooth, and this is the roughen terrain option. And you can see again, it is intensity, size, scenery lock, which is the same thing as in Planko. Once you have scenery and you hit the scenery lock, it makes sure that you can't place terrain into, for example, the facilities. So that makes sure that you don't have a weird mountain going on in your shed. That's a cool thing. And we have also a surface lock, that it doesn't go above a certain surface. And you can paint, and then you can choose, I guess, from scrolling down, or this might be just a beta thing over here, but you can choose most likely from sampled, previous use texture, or just flatten. So that's kind of the options you basically have in Planet Coaster as well. So I bet you have the same in here as well. So as you can see, they're using it. It doesn't cost too much money, to be honest. And putting the water down basically is as in Planet Coaster. However, and this is really interesting here, let me just recap that. Because in Planko, what happens in Planko is that the water just appears, and then that's it, and you need to make the texturing yourself. But if I skip forward very, very slowly here, frame by frame, let me actually zoom in for it. That makes things a bit more easy. And now, oops, there we go. Oh, wait, that was already, how can I get back? Is this way? Oh, no, that's not the way it works, okay. We need to go back at least a tiny bit here until she plops the water down. Okay, is this the one? 1, 2, 3. Come on, make it happen. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom, there we go. As you can see, my picture is just pixelating it for a second. Why isn't that happening? Okay, never mind. I think I just need to keep that running because my computer doesn't want to do that. And boom, there we go. It automatically gets a little bit muddy here. So that's pretty cool actually, because this means that the terrain does react to the humidity and wetness of a surface, which actually is pretty awesome if you ask me. It's super dope, because that makes things even more realistic and does not make us always paint the whole stuff the way we want to have it look like. So yeah, pretty awesome if you ask me. So let's go further and hope that my computer is not doing this weird stuff again. I don't know, it seems to be my VLC player. I have to improve that over time, because it's pretty annoying, to be honest. Okay, now it's getting super interesting, guys. We are not even halfway through. Oh my goodness, but I'm so super hyped. And there's so much more we can talk about. This is even better. So now we are getting into one. There we go. This is what people have been asking for. Actually, you can't see that in here. I'm not quite sure if you can. Anyways, we have to go into the zoom option first of all again. Here we go. And now we see the saltwater crocodile. It's Permata. Permata seems to be doing pretty well, and well, she could need some more friends, it seems. And everything else seems to be just well in the 90s, which is awesome. And you can see her lying down here. Well, it's basically as in Planet Coaster. You have the outline around things you have just selected, so pretty easy and straightforward as we know it. So now as we go closer to our friend here, there we go, super awesome swimming. You can see they're interacting with the water. It's, again, as I said, it's volumetric, so here you have a good view from underwater, which is awesome. Unfortunately, it's not diving, but I can tell you, if I remember correctly, in our demo we've seen the crocodile actually was diving. So wait, I need to, okay, there we go. We need to zoom in here for a very important reason. There we go. There's a little baby crocodile, and I would love to tell you that they come straight out of eggs, but we have no idea. There was no answer given to this question. I can guarantee you, Lady did ask this, I think 20 to 200 times within that meeting, but we only got some smiles, but that's about it. So no confirmation here, but it seems that it needs to lie in here to, you know, get the heat of the area, and also has a little bit of different soil to make sure that it is provided also with a warmer area from below. So that also means, and we know we do have confirmation on that, they need the different soils and stuff in their enclosure to be happy. And so this is how this turns out to be working. Now as we go further, let me just go here. She's painting some sand in here. As you may have seen, it's okay, we have to repeat that again because it wasn't too easy to spot here. The terrain is just slightly changing. There we go, it's getting a bit more sandy. Now she's putting in some more different sand, so it's mixing into each other, because you're always putting the stuff in the same area, which is also that you can mix stuff, which is super awesome. That makes the whole thing go into each other, and you can even make this look better. So there we go, soil light, you can see it's very light in here. Now you can put the grass again, so it's super awesome how this works. And I love the panning shot. I wonder how they did this, because she is, like, for me this is seriously a question. She is playing that whole thing, she's doing that, and it's filmed at the same time. So I'm wondering if they now finally have a flying camera. But now, okay, wait, we need to go back a little bit over here. I think this is about what we need to do. Great, and now we need to zoom in again because we have an awesome look here towards the station, and which seems to be a nice kind of border over here. I don't know what kind of fence this is, but basically this is something we don't know from Planko yet. There seems to be another facility, looks to be like a toilet over here, I don't know, but also pretty nice to see that we have this Jeep ride station just over here. Nice to see. Now we go on because there is so much more interesting stuff to see. Okay, now moving over here makes us or brings us into a position to finally see a lot more, boom, stop it here, please, about staff management. So as you can see, we have an awesome look here to our solar panel. So why would we need a solar panel? Well, to have energy, right? Because energy is very interesting, a bit we haven't seen yet. I can tell you that over here, we do have a terrarium. Unfortunately, you can't see that here, so I guess they will show that on Friday. I think that's what they kept away for Friday's gameplay reveal. And this is the room we are getting to in a few seconds, which will make you all breathless because it's just insane. But the cool thing is you can see there's a lot of backstage management going on here. Everything is just hidden away with these walls, which is fairly realistic if you ask me. And I think in this game it doesn't really make that much, or it's not that big of a problem that you have the normal fences of paths going on. Obviously, if I would be playing that game, I'd disable them right away and just build my own stuff around. But as this is super time consuming, it's good to see that it also looks fairly okay, fairly good, without putting too much effort into the fencing and stuff. So really awesome. So let's move further because the camera is panning in a bit, and so we can see some more awesome stuff here. So we're getting now into the, oops, okay, wow. I didn't know that would come off now, but oh wow, man. Okay, this takes time now. This is the overview tab of the management, and hell yeah, they made a huge leap forward in terms of overview than in Planko. So, well, okay, now let's start from the top left and go down to the top, bottom right, because otherwise I do lose the overviews. So first of all, we have the overview. And it seems to be the Savannah sandbox. Might be that this is a scenario normally, but it seems to be a sandbox. The opening hours can be set in here. This is way more intuitive than it was with Planko. You can just set the times here and seeing clearly where the sun is at its highest peak and stuff. You can set the ticket prices for adults and childs, which is awesome. You could do that you couldn't do that in Planko, I guess, if I recall correctly. You can see that we have a Zooland tax, which is awesome. This gives us already an info that we do have this kind of stuff. We have at the moment 1,300 guests, and their overall happiness at 73%. We have, and this is even better to spot now that I was right, that we need a lot more stuff. We have 4 mechanics, we have 17 what seems to be zookeepers, we have 0 vets here, we've got 3 janitors. This seems to be security or maybe advisor, I don't know. Could be security, could also be police or advisor, whatnot. And we have 21 vendors. So yes, we do need a lot more than we needed in Planet Coaster. The staff happiness is pretty awesome here, it's 100%. We have the African elements, the African elephant as the most appealing animal in the park. We have 86 animals overall. We have 9 species, and the average animal welfare is not too good, to be honest. 3.5 stars, could be better. The zoo reputation is even worse. It's at 3.1 stars, I would say. We have animals is kind of good. Conservation, interesting, is very good. Education, that's what I have talked about, is very weak, so we need a bit more education in here. Scenery is awesome, could be my park then, and the guest happiness is also pretty okay. The finances are pretty weak, to be honest. We have a cash flow of minus 3.4 thousand, I guess, and last year's profit was about the same, so yeah, well, not too good. The inspector's report, another very interesting thing. It seems that we need an inspector, or we do have inspectors, and that's cool because that means they're actually looking into how you treat your animals, and if not, you might be punished by them, and this is really a nice element of gameplay if you ask me. We have 0 active loans, we have 0 research items. That means we have research, but you can see that from left. We are talking about these items in a bit. Okay, now, and what we need to do as well, let's go over here again. So we have this, oh, sorry, bam, there we go. So yeah, we have the overview, we have the graph, which I guess might be choosing between different things to show in the graph. So that seems to be like profit. This seems to be This seems to be animals. That seems to be stuff. That seems to be research. This seems to be another research. I don't know. That seems to be facilities, and this means I'm pretty sure that this is education. So yeah, so much in this to spot. Wow, what an overview. But it seems to be way more organized than the Planko stuff. So very nice indeed. Okay, now we click on staff. Why though? Okay, let's go on. Let's go on and do this. Oh man, I hope you share that video with everyone because I'm putting a lot of effort in here, and I hope that you guys are really happy with my analysis so far. I'm having a lot of fun, to be honest, even though it's a bit exhausting, but you know. Okay, there we go. It's actually not a janitor, it's a caretaker we have in here. We have staff buildings, interesting that we have known overview of that, and with work zones, as we know rosters from Planet Coaster. Okay, so we have 3 caretakers, not janitors, but caretakers, which is interesting to know because, yeah, seems to be a good animal. Good animal. What am I even saying? Seems to be a good thing that they have more to do than just making janitor stuff. And we have 17 keepers at the moment. You can see their happiness seems to be about right, but they're not so happy with their payment. They're kind of expensive, to be honest. I mean, in comparison to the Planko wages, this is pretty expensive. Okay, now we can actually see what that was. Okay, it is security. With the caretaker, okay, keeper, okay. We have a mechanic, we have security, we have a vendor, and we have a veterinarian. A vet. I want to call it vet. It's easier for me. Okay, so let's see if they click on something else here. I don't recall if they do. Oh yeah, they put a keeper down. Okay, let's see. They put a keeper down here. This is going to be awesome now, guys. This is going to be insane. In the membrane. Okay, so I love how the door just opened and closes here now, because just the door's closed. So all right, what we can spot here, stop it please, before we go in and everyone is losing their minds, we need to, oops, that's not what I wanted to do, we need to have a look onto this and this. I hope that they actually need these air conditioning units to make sure that they are having a good time as well, because that would be awesome. I know they can be easily only scenery pieces, but I would love to think that, you know, in this savannah area it's hot and they need also some cooler areas to recover better. If this is the thing, props to you, Frontier, that'll be awesome. If not, just pretend you have known that and built that into the game. You're welcome. Alright, so zoom out and go further on, because this is the next very interesting bit here. Oh man, okay, we know that the staff management building in Planet Coaster has been a black box, and now this is a no black box at all. Holy shit, oh man, I just need to calm down here. First thing over here, it is the it's Planko, language Planko. Another confirmation over here, seems to be a recipe. This one seems to be with fish and meat over here. You can see all these boxes from Nizo, and I don't know what that is, but this is pretty much Planko as well. And she is going to prepare now the food for the animals. And you know what? The best part of it, you can watch her doing this. So now she's getting some stuff down there. Let's have a look. There we go, and she's now taking off the meat and she's cutting it and putting it into portions that are suitable for your animals. You can see also that here we have some prepared stuff as well. It seems to be a melon for the veggie animals down there. We've better look to the brand down here. It's Nizo. I don't know even know. We have seen that the chimpanzees were actually playing with some other stuff as well. Oh, wait a second. I have something that I noticed here. Okay, it's on the wrong side, but this seems to be an air conditioning unit from the inside as well, so maybe Frontier even has integrated this as well. That would be so awesome, to be honest. I have no confirmation on that, so please keep in mind that I'm now sharing everything with you I know and I'm allowed to talk about, and if I'm guessing stuff, I really don't know. If I would know some stuff that I do know, I'm just not talking about that because I'm not allowed to. Anyways, just to make this pretty obvious for you guys. What is super interesting as well is we have down here like something which is like a medic kit or whatnot for first aid. I hope they can also get injured, maybe. That'll be awesome. What if they're not trained well, they get injured while doing the food. That'll be okay. Anyways, I might be going too deep into here, but If we move further, you can see that she's taking this bin with her now, and well, there's no air conditioning unit from the inside here, so it might be just a prop as well. Just mentioning. The cool bit is, if I recall correctly, you can choose this interior to be filled like here, because this is all preset obviously, but you can also put your own scenery pieces in as well, and obviously you can also choose, if I understood that correctly. Please don't take this as confirmed now, because I'm not 100% sure, but I remember that they said that you can choose this building to be empty, so you just get the bare bone building with maybe lamps and clock and whatnot, so you can just put your own stuff down here, and you can obviously upgrade the buildings as in Planko, and then they become even more prepared and you have more stuff. But yeah, the camera movement needs to be pre-prepared. This is just way too good, guys. This is just way too good. I love the, wait a second, I love the Planet Zoo logo down here. I also love this this plate. It seems to be like an action plate that reacts while stepping on, that the door automatically closes, I guess. That could be the thing. So yeah, we have here a look to the African wild dog, which I think also the realization of them is awesome. You can see how he's just putting down the meat now. It's filling their lovely stuff over here, and they now getting here and get some food. And we can just keep that running, because there's not too much crazy stuff to see here. Yeah, you can see how they're just loving the food right now, and it's getting less. Really awesome. Then you can have, you know, at a glance, you know that they need new food, and also really good to know that we have to care about this whole stuff. This means we have a lot to do, guys. We'll be fairly busy to play in here. Okay, so now let's see. Lovely glass pieces, by the way, over here for this thing. I love how the zoo is laid out, though. This is another solar panel in the back here, so that means you're not getting away with only one. So let's stop it here. Okay, awesome. I wanted to stop that here for several reasons. So first of all, yes, picnic tables, shade for the people is also important. We have more than one information thing over here. We have the billboard, but these seems to be like a information desk or like a display, whatever. Looks fairly awesome if you ask me. And if we look over here, I'd bet my lovely camel hump that this is Gulpy soda, because we have seen the Gulpy box for the chimpanzees that have been playing with it, and I'm betting this is the thing. Another stuff management, stuff pathing over here. We have normal benches, picnic tables, benches, so yeah, quite a few things. And you can see this is the sunset point. This seems to be again a customizable sign where you can put your own text on. And you know what I'm loving about this one? They finally got rid of these ugly outlines and the pixelated shit. Sorry to say that, but this was always so ugly, and they listened to us, and yeah, they finally improved that. Okay, now we are getting into some serious stuff here, guys. This is awesome. Before we go into detail, this is the chimpanzee layout enclosure, and chimpanzees are having a high need to climb stuff, and you can see all these structures in here. They seem to be pre-built. Let me tell you, as they have done a few times as well, it is built piece by piece. You can build whatever you want. And even better, they even climb the trees. Let's have a look if they do, because in our demo, they did climb the trees here. So let's see if someone does it at the moment. So we cannot see anyone climbing at the moment, right? Camera is... Okay, wait, there's one. Let's focus on this guy over here. He's climbing on here, so... God, he's just jumping onto the next bit over here, jumping over to the next one, jumping over to the next one, and now, oh wait, there we go. We've seen someone in the background. Let me just do this again, and then we can have a lovely look to it. I just keep it playing and just zoom in. Okay, so you guys can maybe spot this better. Let's just look to the back here. There is the chimpanzee going into the tree. There we go, and now he's jumping. Boom! Over here. The next one is going to slide up here. What I especially wanted to show you before we are, oops, and I need to zoom out again, before we're going to look into orbiting around with this chimpanzee, which I haven't caught the name just yet. The cool thing is, let me tell you, because this is a pre-made camera flight, which is awesome to see, but the demo we've seen was really in-game, like you would play the game, and she was panning around herself, and then you could get a clear look. Honestly, the AI, how they're moving on here, is insane, like seriously insane. It is really, really good. Considering that this is all built piece by piece, you can really tell how good they stick to the bottom. It's really, really cool. Okay, this is a little bit of a glitch, but trust me, it's beta, so they're gonna improve this even more. So really, really awesome. And now we can have a look at Badru. It's a Western chimpanzee. He's freaking 16 years old, but he's fairly happy with his life. So yeah, we can just follow what Badru is doing. Badru is my best friend now. Look at the animation. So Badru is climbing over here. As I said, it's insane. They are interacting with all the scenery you place down here. That's what I meant. Just look at. Have you seen that? Just let's replay this again because it's just too good. There we go. Look at. He is actually really. You know what? I'm just slowing down the footage even more now. Wait a second. Okay, I hope that my computer does it. So let's go to actually 3 times slower. I hope that my computer is doing it. Come on, do it. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm even zooming in. Guys, now the maximum focus. Oh, I love it. Look at the mouth. This is so good, like the teeth fletching. Man, okay, now, here we go. Look at that. It is so accurate. It is so freaking accurate. It is insane. Okay, never mind. We are zooming out again and putting this back to real time because otherwise my computer is complaining. Okay, let's hit play again and see what's next up. So much more to see here. All right, oh god, there we go. Finally, I was waiting for it. You have a full customizable weather input. At the moment, you can see the atmospheric conditions as they are called, which is interesting. It's not called weather, so it's the atmospheric conditions. Interesting. Is now on shuffle, it seems. You can change the time of day. You can also kind of refresh that, I guess. If you set the time, you can refresh that as in Planko, but it's just looking a little bit more different. Then we have, I think, disabling weather, if you ask me. We have, I think, cloudy, or maybe this is just sunshine, cloudy, rain, and snow. Okay, interesting. I wonder if we have storms as well, but I don't know if you can set them to be storms or whatnot. But interesting to see that overlay. And now let's see what happens if she clicks on rain. And she closes that window. Now we get a transition into the next weather condition, which is awesome. We have to just watch this a little bit better. Now, you can see how the sky turns a little bit, and there we go, the first droplets are appearing. And what happens with that is that the animals search for some shade, or actually not shade, but for some sheds, I should say, to hide from the rain, which is super interesting. Here is some licking of the fur, which is also awesome. These kind of all animations, scratching behind his ear, like these small details will make the whole thing feel so realistic. But guys, that's been it. We are through. This was the analysis in deep, kind of in-depth analysis. I hope you enjoyed that. I just want to point out this lovely sleeping chimpanzee over here. I just want to go and give us a final look at the glory of the game. Yeah, you know what? We keep that in focus now because I just like this so much. And I like to have Bo on screen as well because Bo is pretty and Bo is super nice and Bo is a wonderful person. And Lisa is also pretty awesome. She was also the one who was giving the demo to us when we've been to Cambridge. So, just as a few final notes here. Basically, there are a few things you haven't seen, and I want to hype you up for this as well, for Friday's showcase, which I'm going to analyze as well. Don't worry, I'll do that. For you guys, with you guys, whatever, you haven't seen the terrariums, which is awesome because this is another cool bit to see. But apart from that, you have basically seen what all the stuff we have seen as well. And I can only tell you, the only difference is that you haven't seen that like in-game panning around yourself. It's more with this pre-made camera flight. So a few more things I want to tell you. First of all, the graphics are really improved over Planko. You can't really tell this from here because first of all, it's not full HD. Second of all, it's like pre-made camera flight. I don't know which settings they were using. It is pixelated from the screens. Also from my recording, I'm encoding it again. You know, please don't judge it according to this. I can guarantee you the shading, the lighting, the overall appearance of the graphics, the fur, everything looks glorious. Yes, it looks more Planko-ish than Jurassic World Evolution-ish, if you will compare that. But that's not kind of a big deal because it belongs into the Planet Coaster universe. And actually in the Planet universe, I should say. This is also why we get the brands in here as well. This is all confirmed, all fine, all great. But the thing is, I can tell you and I can guarantee you it looks stellar in-game. It looks super insane. And if it has the same requirements as Planko has in terms of graphic capabilities, you can at least be sure that you can play it for the most parts. I mean, if you do not go crazy as we do with all the pieces, which still will break the game anyways. This is, simply something that computers can't handle. One last topic I want to tackle on now is because I got all these comments recently and I really, really, really want to talk about that. Two things with this game. First, this game is focused on education. There is actually a very important gameplay element, as you have seen from this analysis here, making education a very, very important part of it. You even have a zoo inspector. You have many, many things that make sure that you are treating the animals well and you're working for reintroduction, which we haven't seen in here, but we know that this will be a thing. This is the one thing. Please keep in mind, this is not a game to encourage people to keep animals in captivity. Absolutely not. It's the complete opposite. And, making these wonderful creatures on this planet appear in the best way possible in a digital game to make us all better educated about what zoos can deliver if kind of, tread well and ruled in the right way. This is awesome. And the second thing is, for me, way more important, Planet Zoo is a known standing game, and there's a fairly good reason to it why it is not an addition to Planet Coaster. The first main reason being is that this runs on a way, way, way more improved version of the Cobra engine. Bringing in all the old stuff from Planet Coaster into Planet Zoo is not that big of a deal because it's actually sharing the same code of engine because it has developed. Vice versa, it's a lot more complicated. And as we've been there, surely this has been a discussion as well, but they kind of explained this to us. Even talking to the devs was even better. So if they have a crazy plan with that game. They have been in development and planning for over 9 years. Keep that in mind, 9 years, that's insane. And this means that there is some groundbreaking things that they want to bring to the game, and this is really important because if you need to wait until a certain point in time if you have the capabilities, technology-wise, to bring something to life. And I remember how many people were complaining, for a good reason, that Planet Coaster lacked a lot of things regarding management. Now, coasters do make a lot of things better, and you can, I try to put that in words that make it really obvious for you. They kind of hide away what is lacking in the management part because the game as a sandbox is so insane. With a zoo game though, this is not gonna work. If this is a great zoo sandbox, many people will be happy about that, but not the majority. By far not the majority. A zoo game has a vast majority of people thriving for management and building an actual working zoo, whilst enthusiasts for theme parks are happy to build the theme park of their lives and of their dreams. So there's a good reason why this is an outstanding game. But more importantly also is, if you think about what they also brought in here, bringing this all into Planet Coaster would make the whole game completely overkill. It will crash every demands of a computer you can imagine. Just imagine having, I'm just giving you the example here, having 20 coasters, 20 flat rides, like 60 shops and 90 animals in one park. I guarantee you your computer wouldn't survive for a day. And this can't be a thing. This can't be cool. This can't be a great thing. And to be honest, they are not as close to each other in terms of games and genres as they have a right to exist together. Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and the Wild Edition is a different story. That was the beginning of 3D graphics development. And to be fair, the zoo element of Wild Extension, I've heard no one saying that Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Wild is an important installment of the Zoo Tycoon series, for example, or of the zoo games in general. Having people having top lists of zoo games, no one talked about Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Wild. For a good reason. No one did consider this to be a zoo game. It was an extension, that's it. But people want a zoo game, so no extension, right? Yes, there will be people thriving for an extension in Planet Coaster. You won't get that. Maybe Planet Coaster 2 has something like that, but it is a good reason, and for a good reason, that this is the decision that Frontier made, that they said we will have two different games. And again, considering how long this has been in development, it makes sense. So please keep that in mind. It's super important to know that, because this will guarantee that we will get the great game that it seems to be getting, right? Anyways, the music is over, and I say goodbye to you. Make sure if you like that video, give it a like, and also make sure to subscribe for more of these kind of videos. I put a lot of effort, hype, and love in it, passion, you know, all this kind of stuff. It's my hobby. It's not my job. I just do it for passion. So make sure to spread some love. Give me your comments about this video, and also share it wherever you want. Please, if you want to make people getting interested into the game, share it to them, spam them with it. I hope that I can kind of get them in and excite them for the game as well. However, that's it from my side. Enjoy your day, guys, and make sure to keep an eye on the Frontier social channels in the next couple of days, because there's so much more great stuff coming. For every news, you are on the right place to be here on this channel to make sure to check it all out. Until then, have a great time, and see you next time, guys. Bye.